Well, guys, I think it's time. It's actually time. It's time to get our hands on Create. And I have just the spot. Yes, today we're gonna have a little bit of a break of the colony, which has been growing, well, quite rapidly, I must say. Focus on the new Create update. And my plans for this update is actually gonna be try to automate everything in Create. Well, almost everything. So hopefully we can take advantage of this island that I just flattened out and we can make something work out of here. And yes, before you tell me, yes, we are in ATM 10, which means I do have access to my supercomputer to pretty much craft everything I could possibly want, like 8,000 andesite alloy in like 2 seconds or so. But this is mainly to help us get us started, because I kind of want to automate everything over here using the new Create 6.0 mechanics. That also means I'll have to learn them along the way, so you'll probably see me do things which don't quite work at the start, but hopefully we can fix them and make it work by the end of the video. So as you normally do, you just start getting your hands on a bunch of andesite casings so you can make a bunch of machines. So let's start by getting some rotational power, and we're going to be using these water wheels for now to get some power going, because we need to start automating things. You see, even though we're quite progressed in some aspects of the game, we don't have access to any sort of plate generation. Like, you got nothing to make this besides our own hands at the moment. But of course, if you want to do this, we can even use immersive engineering, which we will use this later down the line, or we can even use Create if you want to use these hammers, you know. But the most important of all, I believe, is the iron plates, which are mostly needed for several of the Create stuff, like chutes and the harvesters and all those related Create stuff. So this is something that we need to automate as fast as possible. And so, boom, the Create process begins. So now that we have the plates going on here, we need to focus on automating some of the basic resources to get us going. Now, first of all, we're going to need to automate these andesite alloys, which, well, we need to automate iron nuggets and andesite as well. We also need to automate these shafts, which we can use the sawing from the Create to process andesite alloys and giving us some shafts. That's a really, really good way to get it. Probably the cogwheels as well. The difference between the cogwheels and the other things that now that these cogwheels would actually require us to, well, do this, or we can even do it like this with the deployer. So either one of these would work, but they requires us to get wood. So we need to make a wood farm as well. And of course, we need to automate this, getting our hands on the brass ingots, which, well, we can even use other ways, like we can use bees, we can use this system right here with the alloy smelter, which I have it set up in case I need desperate. But don't think we should be worrying just as the start to give us a kickoff, but we should be resorting to this, which means we need to get our hands on the blaze burner. Whew, there's a lot to automate here. Now, pretty much everything Create needs us to get our hands on Cobblestone, and I'm gonna be using these bad boys to actually get my hands on Cobblestone. You see, I was thinking about using the drills, but since we're gonna have a bunch of machinery going on, the more I can save in terms of FPS and issues, yes, I'm gonna save there. Oh, and yes, this also allows us to get our hands on andesite and granite and diorite for any recipes that we may need, but for right now, we need Cobblestone. And just before I start building tons of things that you guys may or may not understand what the hell is going on, I'm just going to tell you guys, I'm going to try and separate this as much as possible to make sure that everything remains as clean as possible, which, if you know me, that's not going to happen. So I made something. Yes, I now have automated over here. We have cobblestone, we have andesite, we have diorite, we have granite, and cobblestone are being turned into gravel and red sand. And then at the front, we're now actually using the new Create mechanics, which are currently the stock link and the package frogport. Oh, and the packager. And let us not forget about these chain conveyors, which look pretty cool, and they actually transport rotational power, which is amazing. But what are we doing with this setup over here? I have a tree farm as well to get us on some saplings and some oak logs. We'll see why in a second. But right now, I have this setup right here with these two, with the red sand and the gravel, and all the way over here, I have a smelting and a washer setup. And I already have those frog ports all linked up to the same system. So technically, everything is connected to the same links, which means that, for example, this redstone requester can actually request from the entire setup gravel and sand. And what this is going to do is actually going to send a signal to this stock link, which is then make a package, in this case red sand. I'm using these pipes underneath here to put the items into the depot, just because I didn't have a neat way of using create to do this. I just used pipes to make my life a little bit easier. And then we have this guy right here, which is the red sand frog, which is then going to spit up the package all the way into that chain over there, and then it will follow the chain all the way down here, where the washer is actually going to pick it up, put it into that belt. That saw opens up the package, which then puts the red sand and the gravel into here, and then they get washed because I have a filter that prevents anything that can be washed from moving forward. After they're washed, they're put into this item vault right here. I'm gonna do the same for the smelting setup. But at the moment, the only way that this actually works is if I press this button right here. See, yeah, the frogs split. And then, even though the package doesn't get picked up first time, it will get picked up the second time, which is perfectly fine. Then after the sand gets washed, the gravel gets washed. Oh, perfect. We now have an income of gold nuggets and iron nuggets and flint and dead bushes, but dead bushes, they're really not that good, right? So we're probably gonna have to filter out dead bushes into a trash can or something, but the rest we need. But now, here comes the fun part. You see, we now technically in our storage from create on our stock links, we have access to all of these blocks, and as soon as I link that up, we'll also have access to iron nuggets and gold nuggets, which we can turn to, well, anything we want, really. The only bad thing about this is that, well, Create's kind of having a little bit of issues with shaders and all that, so we might just toggle off the shaders real quick and just run like this, because, well, we get better FPS, and the belts look a lot better, actually. And now let's move on to factory cages, which is probably one of the best features they could have added, and this is gonna make the factory come alive by itself, really. You don't need to always have everything automated. You can just have your factory do the things as long as they're needed. But to start this off perfectly fine, let's actually automate cardboard. Yes, let's start with this. To automate cardboard, which is one of the new things that you can use to, well, make yourself some armor set, which is kind of funny, but I kind of want to use this as a block to make my plannings and all those things. So I want to automate this. To automate this, really simple. All we need to do is press down pulp, which then needs water and, well, a sapling to be mixed, or 4 saplings to be mixed to get us the pulp. So pretty easy. We only need a mixer and basin and a press, and we should be perfectly fine. Now, to automate this, I already made myself a couple of factory cages. Kind of need to make more automations over here, and that's one of the reasons why we have this oak saplings all the way sitting down here. Now, the water, I don't really have a way of using create to measure water, I think, so we're probably just gonna use a sink with that. So if we right click the factory gauge here, you can see all of them turn on because we have access to all of them. They're all into the same connection, and we're going to place it, well, there. It's now connected to all of this system. So this would be our connection. We have saplings, which then need to be turned into pulp, which then need to be turned into, well, cardboard. And then I set it so we have at least 1 stack of cardboard always in the system. And we're gonna be trying to make it all the way over here. Still need to put a press here somewhere. But for the time being, we also need to come over here to this one, and we right click it and we make a connection. Connection will be this one. So now it's going to be connecting over here. And it says, well, it's missing ingredients. Of course it is, because this is no way to do it. Gonna go ahead and tell it, I'll do that. And now we do have saplings, but we do not have any way of making the pulp yet. Now, I don't think this guy activates on its own unless he has a destination to do anything. So we have to hook that up so we actually have a way to automate and process for cardboard. So now I believe I have everything connected. Now we will have access to the saplings, which will then make the pulp, which will then make this. Now, take a look at this recipe right here. And, oh, come on, man. Okay, if you take a look at these guys, you actually have to tell them addresses. So I told this guy to send the 4 saplings to make the pulp into the pulp, which is this frog right here. It's the pulp. And then he's actually gonna grab the items, put them into here, gonna spit them out right there, and then it's gonna, well, I know when I power this belt, it's gonna mix them up, then I'm gonna get pressed, and they're gonna be put into here. Perfect. Now the cardboard box is waiting here. The only thing I am missing now is this. As you can see, it sends the package gets sent into there, and wait, this is not the way. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Actually, I didn't need the middle step since I'm not storing the pulp. I'm immediately turning this into the cardboard, so I don't need to save, well, anything. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of boxes that are going to sit in there. But eventually, when this guy can then pick up the boxes, those ones will come out. He picks them up, and then boom. Take a look at what's inside of here. Any second. Yeah, there we go. Cardboards. We're now automating cardboards. Amazing. Oh, and we're also using this at the moment to actually transfer some of the power, you know? This is great, though these guys do actually consume some of the stress units. The belts don't, so belts are great. This is helpful, but if it consumes power, then we need, well, better power. And hey, while we're at it, why don't we just do the same for the iron nuggets? Since we can now pretty much have that automated, we can just use this stock link over here that's connected to the network to ask for iron nuggets. And this is going to be a little bit trickier. You see, I'm going to tell them, yes, I want iron nuggets to be in my system. I want to have 16 stacks at any given time, which in order to do this, I'm actually going to give you gravel. And there we go. We have the gravel set here. But to do this recipe right here, we're going to have the connection, and boom, it has the connection. Now, 1 gravel is not going to be enough. So what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to tell you 32 gravel, or actually let's make it 16. 16 gravel equals 1 nugget. This is not entirely true because this is a random percentage. But as soon as he realizes, well, I already have the 16 stacks, he should stop sending the packages. Hopefully, do this, the washer guy will start sending things. Yep, there we go. And they will go all the way over here to the washer. Ah, that's amazing, man. That's super great. Now, I just want to make sure that 16 is a good number here, to make sure that this doesn't clog up a lot, which it might do, but for the time being, I believe this is perfectly fine. Ah, I notice a little bit of an issue here. You see, these guys, since they're in the same network, the network is only doing a single process at a time, and I believe it's starting, yeah, it's doing the nuggets right now. Like, for example, if we remove this connection here, we replace it here, and we give it the cardboard again, and we're gonna have the connection here, do that. We're gonna ask it, well, send 4 saplings into the pulp, do the cardboard, and then we have it on 1 stack. There we go. Or are they now both doing it? Oh, they're both doing it, so I don't understand why this one stopped. That was weird, I guess. Oh, I guess I'm still learning the new create stuff, but yes, we have 64 cardboards now, which means that guy should recognize that it has a stack. Hope. Right? Target amount in storage, a stack. Do you not recognize that you have a stack in the storage? Why? Oh, I know why. Because this guy did not get linked up. Okay, so let's make sure that everything is linked up to the same system. There we go. Now they're all connected to the system, so I just need to do it again. Just put cardboard in, then tell it to have a connection there. So it's gonna be 4. I'm gonna send it to bulb, yada yada yada, and we're gonna have a target amount of 1 stack at any given time, which now hopefully you should realize that we have a stack. Why you're not? Oh, because I broke this one. Okay, now you should. Okay, come on, please work. Aha, there we go. It even gives a little bit of a sound. That's nice. We have a little bit more AI connected apparently to the packager. Maybe, I don't know, but it seems to solve the issue, which means now over here we have 79 cardboards. Now, does this need to be this big? No, it doesn't. So we're probably gonna have to restructure this in a second, but mainly I wanted to get my hands on the cardboard automation, which then made me realize we don't really have that many saplings left, you know. We only have 34 saplings, so can we get more saplings with the create mod? Not really. We might need to fabricate some cardboard, if you know what I mean. Oh, and I just realized this is bad. The fact that these ones just sit here. This happens because this guy is actually directly inputting into here, to this conveyor belt. So we might need to give it an extra conveyor belt so this doesn't happen. Oh, we can actually pick it up by hand. Oh, that's kind of nice. Well, that's not nice. The fact that they just keep flying in. Can I? Okay, I can place them here by hand as well. That's all right. Okay, actually, never mind. Those packages only had a single sapling. That's why they were not getting anywhere, because that guy only accepts 4 saplings, and those packages was just duds basically. But we can also go ahead and make it to make the cardboard into a cardboard block, which we're now using the mechanical crafters. And to do this, we can actually put together all of them by going into the back and using the wrench. We can assign them to be all connected into a single automatic crafting recipe. And the good thing about this is that it actually knows the input that you're making. Like, for example, we want to make 29 of these cardboards, and for some reason it just stopped crafting. We only have 29 and I asked for 32. I think I know what this is. You can see, for example, here it's actually requesting, but the items are not doing anything. That's a little bit of an issue. So like, that is definitely not great. But this guy is not actually recognizing the entirety of the system. So I think I know how to fix it. Okay, that one just now decided to work. And here is the culprit. This guy has what it's called a promise. This is promised items. Like, it sent it into the system, but it never really got into there. So let's actually go ahead and forget all of your promises in like 30 seconds or so. So now, as you can see, it turns into a red number, which means that it actually realizes, well, the items never got there, so I need to send the request again. And it's very, very helpful when you're setting things up. And now you have 32, you heard the ding, and boom, 32 cardboards sitting right there. Now, of course, in order to get the items out of here, we cannot use these new item matches, which, even though they're really, really cool, we cannot use them to put items on the outside, of course. Now, what we could do here is that we can use depot, which is very simple to make, and we put it right here, and we put a funnel here. There we go, and that should actually trigger the system again. Then make another. Yep, there we go. And now, boom, 32 again, and we have one here. which we can take as many as we need to, well, make anything we want. Now this is great because I intend on replacing this, and there's a cool trick to actually replacing this. Now take a look at this thing right here. We're gonna be moving all of these into here without breaking them. How do we do this? If we right click there, we have this tag right here which says move gauge. So we can move these gauges without actually breaking anything, and that is, well, an awesome feature. I'm gonna be moving everything here and try and make it as clean as possible, and boom, there we go. Perfect. Now let's turn shaders back on and take a look at this beauty working. But now, of course, I'm not just gonna build this and let these things just look like this. Besides, without having a building covering, as you can see, my frames drop a lot. So I'm just gonna look to this side of the ocean where I have frames. Nah, just kidding. So I think I'll have something that looks like this. I mean, these are the walls. They're made of several types of bricks, like brownstone bricks, brown bricks, bone bricks, laid andesite bricks, and then andesite at the top. There might be an extra layer with stone. It really depends on how tall I want to make this thing, because I do want to have at least a second floor, which will be made on spruce planks, and, well, chipped spruce planks so they don't burn. I think these don't burn. And then probably maybe a third floor on some places. We'll have to see, but I intend to have a pretty large building encompassing pretty much every single thing we do over here. And that being said, guys, I think that's all the time I'm gonna have for today. There's still plenty more to do over here at this factory. I still need to automate all the things that I said at the start of the video. But if you guys are enjoying, please follow down below. And as always, see you in the next one. Bye.